Hey there, everyone. We are back today with another comic review, and this one is actually a new one. It's also just a single issue, so this video might be kind of short, but this is Major X by Rob Liefeld. So Rob Liefeld, in, I don't know, recent years has become kind of a joke for comic people, but I think, like, people who don't like Rob Liefeld are usually younger or don't remember what like Rob Liefeld was doing in like the early 90s. It's just the kind of thing where, like, Rob Liefeld, yeah, okay, like he loves pouches and he loves unnecessary straps and things. So what? His art looks great. Look at this cover. It's by Rob Liefeld. It's you know, better than 99% of anything that Marvel puts out these days in terms of art. Like, it doesn't look like bad Tumblr art. It doesn't look like something ridiculous. But that's just the cover. The inside, also lots of cool stuff. It starts off awesome. Starts off like, uh-oh, we got trouble. Here's some of our characters we know in bad situations. And then here we go. Starts right off. We got this going on. Major X, main character, doing something awesome. He's stomping on Cable's head, basically. That does so much. It does so much in such a good way. Look at this page. This page, you can see Shatterstar in the background has been beaten. And you see, oh shit. Well, you see Cable is down here on the ground, and so Major X is beating Cable, who is a major character. He's not like somebody you would take lightly. So Major X, you can see, is beating Cable here, and it automatically gives him credit. So, like, he's beaten at least two people, and you know he beat Domino also before on the previous page. So you know he's beaten three people, and three people that aren't really, like, you know, low power level, low hitters. So, you know, it shows up, and you have like this white beast dude shows up, and he's like, you know, there's some battles going on here. They're fighting. Cable is fighting back. Major X and Cable have a battle, and you know, here is this white beast, and his name is McCoy. So he's something like the beast, and you figure out the story. I'll skip a few pages for the copyright gods, but you get this kind of backstory where it's showing the kind of origin of why Major X is there. And, you know, they've come from some other dimension where there's something called the Exential, I think. Exential, who is like this, there it is, Exential, who is sort of this ruler of a mutant colony where in sometime in the future where their mutants have, I don't know, they've become some type of, you know, they have like their own little land where they're living free and safe. And, you know, something destroys the Essential or kills the Essential. We don't really know. It doesn't really show you, but when the Essential dies, the place where they live starts falling apart. So they warp back in time here to hopefully try to and I guess cross dimensions, and they try to figure out a way to save the Essential and destroy some kind of traitor that has prevented them from doing it. So look at this page, look at this stuff. People don't like Rob Liefeld's art, fine, but, like, you know, this is like how I remember comics when I was, you know, in like the early 90s. So when I was like a young teenager, and it's full of, you know, sure, like, it's full of action. You got good action here. You got good fights going on. Wolverine shows up. He's like a badass. And then Cable eventually, you know, Major X's and McCoy, there are two people versus like the entirety of the X-Men. So, well, I guess it's X-Force, since it's like, you know, Cannonball and Domino and Shatterstar in the background. But, you know, and then this guy shows up who's Dreadpool, who is like trying to kill Major X and Cable for some reason. So that forces them to team up. It's not Deadpool, it's Dreadpool. Because you'll see later on, we'll skip a few pages, Deadpool shows up. And Deadpool fights off Dreadpool. Dreadpool flees, said he's going to come back to get these guys. You can see Warpath down here. But so Major X reveals himself, says like he's from this different dimension. He's coming to ask for their help. He doesn't want to fight them. He wants them to help, and he reveals himself to be dun dun dun, Cable's son from the future. It's a good start to an interesting series. And this series, man, this issue, it sold out immediately. Basically, it's when you think about it reminds me of comics being hype back in the day. So like Major X, it's a Rob Liefeld #1. You're like, no, nowadays that sounds like a joke, but like, Rob Liefeld #1 in 1993 is like a million seller easy, like hands down million seller, no problem. And this one, they underprinted it. They didn't expect that Rob Liefeld hype to still exist a little, but it apparently did, because Major X sold out. The second issue is apparently out, but sold out immediately also, so they have to do second printings. So this is pretty good. I mean, the writing itself is by Rob Liefeld, so like some of the text itself is like a little not so great, but the dialogue is a little stilted sometimes, but the story overall is actually, he has like a good way of bringing you into it. So it starts off with some action. It's got a battle. That's what comics are about. Cool superheroes doing cool superhero stuff. That's what you want to see. It's a good way to bring people in. And you got this, like here we got this big dual page thing, brings you right in. You're already interested in this guy. He's a badass. And then there's a battle. There's in this half of this thing is a battle. And it's between a lot of characters, with a new character who is holding his own against Wolverine, holding his own against Cable, and characters you like show up. There's an ending. It's pretty good. It leaves off on a cliffhanger and makes you want to read the next issue. It's done all its jobs. I can't see any real complaints about Major X beyond like some of the dialogue being stilted and some of the background stuff being too kind of exposition-y. So like this part where he's like going through, and I guess this is his inner monologue here, but he's like giving you a whole history lesson. Like no one thinks about that stuff in reality, but I kind of understand why. I mean, I understand why the exposition dump is there, but like I always feel that's like a poor way to build a world. But it's also, if you're not going to really focus on it, it's kind of something you have to do just to get it out of the way. So Major X overall pretty good. I don't have any real complaints. And after all this time, I still like Rob Liefeld's art. He's even drawing feet on the cover. Look at it. No complaints, people. He's drawing feet all over the place. You guys are look at that. Even drew feet here, sort of, mostly. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Just want to talk about Rob Liefeld and Major X for a little bit, but enjoying it. It's good. It's rare that you get a Marvel comic these days that you're just like, yeah, this is pretty good. So Major X, I'd recommend it. Check it out. See you guys next time.